Hey guys, my name is Gary and I am a director of user experience with over a decade of time spent in the industry. Today we are going to talk about what is user experience, why is it important, what are some of the fundamentals that you need to know, why should you care? And yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So let's play the intro. So what is user experience and why should you care? UX is really about storytelling. There are so many different aspects of design that you could get into, and really UX at its heart is about taking information, finding the best way to convey that information to a user, and then crafting an experience for them so they're able to accomplish some kind of task smoothly and effectively. One of the first times I really saw the value of UX, I was working as a junior designer and I had a project with a fairly large client where I had to create a prototype quickly and then demo it to their executive team and their sales team, and it was the first time I'd ever presented. And I remember in that moment in the demo, I walk through the presentation, I go through the workflow, I go through the decisions, I go through the iconography of why we did this and what we're expecting the user to do and what value we're going to be providing to them. And when I finished that presentation, I sat there. And for a minute, nobody said anything until the sales partner that was working with me had to prompt them to. At that moment, I had been feeling terror. I had been feeling like, did I just screw this up? Is my career tanked? And then when they started talking, it was like a light bulb had gone off for them, where when they saw the way that we could do things and they saw how using iconography could help them and how bubbling up information to the right level would help their employees make better decisions at the right time faster, it sparked a conversation where they went from just talking about the one project that I've been pitching them, but they started talking about redoing other parts of their website and thinking of different ways of handling their contracts. Right? It sparked this flood of ideas, and so it showed me the power of UX in telling a story that connected and then would go on to connect with the users and improve their lives. So that's the power of UX. That's what UX is. The importance of UX, as you've just heard, it's about communication. UX can make or break your product. It can either lead to higher user engagement, it can lead to better outcomes, it can lead to higher user satisfaction, or bad UX can kill your product. And if you change your UX too quickly, it can also kill the product. Now, the UX process. I like design thinking a lot as a framework, and the UX process closely follows design thinking. So it starts with understanding your problem area, so gathering information, doing research, really getting to know your users in the space that you're working in. Then it's about ideating, coming up with as many ideas as you can for how can you solve this problem? What are the best ways? What are different ways? Do you combine them? Then you go into quickly building and prototyping, so you enter your design phase where you then take those ideas that you came up with and you quickly come up with prototypes and you build something so that you can iterate on it as quickly as possible, and then you test it. And so you take the prototype you've built, you test it with users, you gather the feedback, you improve, and that's how you operate a product. You build it, you test it, you make it better. That's the UX process. Some key principles of UX to keep in mind is that UX is about usability, it's about accessibility, and it's about the flow of information. So you want to make sure that when you're working on something that you're considering how usable it is, how functional it is. You focus on the function more than the form. Make sure that your design is actually communicating or providing value, then make it pretty. And you want to make sure that it's accessible, because there are so many different kinds of people out there with different ways of both thinking, but then also physical and mental limitations that they might have. I myself am partially colorblind, so I always have to go through a few extra steps to make sure that I'm handling things correctly. But you want to make sure that you're designing something in an accessible way so that regardless of who the person is, they're able to enjoy the experience you've built. And UX as a career has so many different opportunities and pathways that you can go in it. It's almost too many, especially if you're starting, to decide, what do I do? So there's starting as a junior, an internship level, and then there's mid all the way up through senior designer, and then there's product design, and there's interaction design, and then there's going down the management path of being a UX manager, and do you learn business skills then transition into more of a director of user experience and a vice president of design or a head of design. The options within UX are just all over the place. There's so many there, and the field is very competitive as companies realize the value of having a good user experience and how you need that partnership between a designer and an engineer to really build something that's going to last. So in conclusion, if you're thinking of getting into UX, or maybe you've lost the passion and you want to get back to some of the passion, I would encourage you to spend some time. Remember that the basics are about creating things that enjoy, delight, and provide value to our users and the businesses we work with. And as you go on your UX journey, find ways to really bring value and delight into somebody's life. If you do that, you're going to enjoy what you do and you're going to learn from it. Now, over the next few weeks, we're going to go into some other topics, but this was just a quick overview of UX at its heart. What is it and why should you care? And I hope that if you want to come on this journey, that you're going to click that like or that subscribe button so you get notified when the next video goes up, and we'll see you in the next one.